Kris, it's so nice to have you here. I think when we think of Cleopatra, we think of her wonderful perfumes, but what I'd like for you to do is tell us about the story of Cleopatra and how the perfume business basically came about.
Well, the word perfume is actually per-fumem. It means Latin for through smoke.
Through smoke.
So fumem is smoke and per is through. And what the priest perfumers in ancient Egypt used to do is macerate and basically, grind the flowers and the plants and get that most odoriferous part of the plant and burn it on the altars. That was their offering to the gods. So really that's what perfumum means, is an offering. And so the modern day...
That's why we like to get a gift of perfume. It's a great offering.
It's a great offering, yeah. It helps grease the wheels a lot, that's for sure. And so these are a lot of ingredients that would have been used in Cleopatra's time. And Cleopatra was known for being very seductive, very alluring. She wasn't a particularly attractive woman. She was just very seductive, and she used scent to... She was a flirt, basically, and so she flirted with everybody. Little kids and babies and men and women. It didn't matter. She was just a flirt. She was very cunning and very alluring. So this particular blend is something that I imagine she might have made when she went to first see Caesar. And if some of you know the story, what happened is she was married to her brother, as they did a lot with royal bloodlines to keep it in the family. And so her brother was much younger, and so her younger brother and younger sister were against Cleopatra. They were plotting to overthrow Egypt. And so she was trying to save Egypt. So Caesar was out in the harbor, and so hence, here's what happened. I'll talk about it while I'm blending.
She made this concoction.
She made this concoction. So
to lure him.
So the first one is beautiful vanilla. So I'm going to put, I put about 2-3 drops in there.
I love vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla's just yummy. Did you know in the 1950s that housewives used to use a dab of vanilla extract in the 40s and 50s because they couldn't afford perfume, so they'd use a little vanilla?
I always, even when I'm cooking, when I put vanilla in something, I have to smell it first.
Oh, yeah,
because
I know.
it's wonderful.
And this one is cinnamon, a nice one for very subtle, because you only put a drop or so in, very alluring. The next one is myrtle.
Myrtle.
So we're just,
I've never heard of that one.
Well,
is that like crepe myrtle?
It's green myrtle. Yeah, so it's similar to that. And when Venus Aphrodite came out of the water, she had covered herself in myrtle. So it's always been affiliated with love and romance. So, and then the next one is rose, which of course, there we go.
We expect it to smell wonderful.
Yeah, so we're going to put a couple drops of rose in there. So what happened with Cleopatra is she made this delicious potion that we're making right now. And she decided that she was going to go out to Caesar's ship. And she had her manservant, Apollodorus, wrap her up in a beautiful Persian carpet. So that was going to be the gift. And so she festooned herself with scent. And so that's lang-lang. That's another little ingredient in there. We're going to add a couple of drops of that. And she had Apollodorus, who was her manservant, wrap her up in this beautiful, exotic carpet. And so they got out there, and of course she had a custom-made, very alluring and seductive gown made for the occasion. And we're going to put a couple drops of jasmine. Jasmine is just absolutely beautiful. We'll put just a little dab on there so you can smell the jasmine. And something very predominant in Egypt. Actually, there's a lot of jasmine made in Egypt today. And we'll finish off this potion with a little lemon. 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of lemon. So like
the vanilla and the lemon, and sometimes I've seen some of the, quote, recipes, like cardamom. So many of these are spices. So I guess they were exotic spices that were ground.
Think about the spice route. I mean, that was where a lot of these things came from. So Cleopatra had many minions, and she would have them travel all over the spice route, to get some beautiful, beautiful things. You can see this is the blood orange. Isn't that amazing how
And that gives it a pretty color too, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we're going to put 8 of the blood orange.
Yeah, that smells just like an orange, fresh orange.
So blood orange has a nice little powdery note to it too. A little bit more than 8, but that's all right. So we're going to mix that up a little bit. So imagine Cleopatra putting this all over her body. I'm sure some on her hair.
So they smelled her coming, so
They
to
smelled
speak.
her coming, exactly. She used to scent her sails when she sailed down the Nile.
really?
Oh, yes. She wanted, you know, any prospective suitors for her were, oh, that smells delicious. So this is a body oil. This is in a mixture of grapeseed oil. And it's maybe a little bit, maybe we needed to add a little bit more as it's not
a little
quite,
subtle.
it's very subtle, yeah. So with Cleopatra, I'd say we double the recipe.
probably.
Okay, yeah, would
Or
not
at
be
least some
subtle.
of them.
And so what the finale of the story, so to speak, is Apollodorus brought her in a boat to Caesar's boat, and he was very intrigued, of course. And then Apollodorus started to unfurl the carpet, and these ribbons of scent just came, and he was besotted. He was just beside himself. And he was intrigued as well. And he thought, well, what could this possibly be? And then, you know, with a devilish look on her face, Cleopatra just kind of sits there. Actually, probably more cat-like. She was known to be kind of cat-like, so she just kind of went...
Cunning.
Cunning and cat-like, exactly. And so that was the beginning of the love story between Cleopatra and Julius Caesar. That is, of course, until Mark Antony came on the scene. So,
And that, as we say, is another
Yes, yeah.
story.
It sure is. It sure
Well,
is.
thank you for showing us how
welcome.
beautiful perfumes are actually blended and what goes into them.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.